You, hey you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Are you tired of the same old podcasts with the same old panels and the same old rhetoric? So am I. So come spend time with me, where you can have a laugh, be entertained, and learn something. I'm your host, Nova, and welcome to School of Thought. Class is in session. Welcome to School of Thought. How are all my degenerates out there today? All my detainees. All of you in detention. You've joined me for after class, after the rush of work and the grind of the week has just begun on a Monday night. We're going to do something kind of interesting tonight and discuss what is going on with the occult again and all the different similarities. And first, though, I'm going to say hello to the chat and see who all is out there. P. Fletch, Daniel Romano, Uncle Guns, Hurricane Paro. All of you welcome in. And I know Trippy's somewhere lurking about. You might be joining me later in the stream. I'm not sure yet. First, we're going to talk about men's spaces and compare to what I'm going to be presenting tonight. Now, mind you, I'm all for men's spaces, believe me. No problems with that. But when things go from a praxeology into an ideology and a cult, well, that's when things start to take on a whole new form. Let's start by reading this. Men's spaces employ various tactics that resemble those used by the occult or fringe groups, often centered around charismatic leaders. Forgive me as I put on my glasses and make sure I don't double read anything. Charismatic leaders, central figures who attract followers with their strong personalities, persuasive rhetoric, and promises of personal employment. Does that sound like anything you've heard before? Insider language, use of specialized jargon or buzzwords that create a sense of belonging and exclusivity. Us versus them mentality, creating a dichotomy between members and outsiders, often framing outsiders as enemies or threats. Are women the threat? I don't know. Echo chambers, cultivating spaces where dissenting opinions are discouraged, reinforcing groups, beliefs, and ideologies. Rituals and rites, promoting specific behaviors, routines, or practices that reinforce group identity and loyalty. Promise transformation. You're going to change. Everything's going to get better. Offering followers a pathway to personal improvement, often linked to adopting the group's beliefs and practices. Emotional manipulation, using fear, anger, and other strong emotions to maintain engagement and loyalty. Mythological. I can't even pronounce this one. Mythologizing, something like that. Leaders, elevating leaders to near mythical status, often attributing them with exceptional wisdom and abilities. Let's take a little look, and then I'll finish this one. No, let's actually finish it now. I like this one. This is great. This is great writing. This is fantastic writing, by the way. Isolation, encouraging followers to distance themselves from non-believers, increasing dependency on the group. Now, I've seen this type of stuff with different types of churches and religions, right? Jehovah's Witnesses are told to not fraternize with other Christians, do not read the Bible, stay within their circle only, because, well, the minute you walk out of it and you get exposed to other things, you're challenged to think. Same thing with Mormons. I'm not saying there's not a lot of good Mormons out there. There really is. But they have the same type of approach. And then there's financial exploitation, monetizing followers through books and courses, Donations and exclusive memberships. Sounds like a whole lot of things I've been watching lately. Certainly, here are additional tactics often used within the men's spaces, especially focusing on shaming and other psychological strategies, and shaming tactics using shame to manipulate and control members, often by attacking their masculinity, intelligence, social status if they dissent or fail to meet group standards. And then we've got hero worship, idolizing certain figures within the community, discouraging criticism, and creating a model for members to aspire to. Well, you got to be like the cookie cutter, right? If you're not like Joe Blow, then I guess you just didn't do it right. Same thing with churches. It's all about the look and the presentation. It's not about what's going on the inside, though. And then we've got demonization of outsiders, portraying outsiders, especially women or feminist groups, as inherently flawed or evil, solidifying the group's sense of righteousness. Selective information, controlling the flow of information, sharing only content that supports the group's narrative while dismissing or attacking opposing views. Gee, I sure got attacked a lot when I went to different denominations. Being the preacher's daughter wasn't always just enough. And in spaces, even on YouTube, I've noticed the same thing. And then narrative control, crafting and maintaining a consistent story or ideology that explains the world and members' place in it, often simplifying complex social issues. Yeah, you're muddling it too much, just got to throw everything in there with the kitchen sink. And before you know it, all the verbiage, you don't know where you've left off or where you've began. Peer pressure, using the influence of the group to enforce conformity and discourage independent thinking. See, I addressed that earlier. Like I said, there's a lot of denominations out there. They like to keep you in the circle because if you get exposed to too much of something else, you might just begin to question what's going on. And then we've got a little bit of something called victimhood, framing the group or its members as victims of societal forces, which can justify extreme views or actions. I can justify my bad behavior, can't I? No, we really can't, because we're adults and we're supposed to be responsible for what the hell we do. Positive reinforcement, rewarding members who show strong alliance with praise, recognition, or elevated status within the group. And then we've got negative reinforcement, punishing dissenters through ridicule, exclusion, or other forms of social ostracizing. Well, I don't know. Sounds like a club and a cult that I don't want to be associated to. Speaking of a cult, let's hit play. As I get over here and I hit the play button.
Cult refers to a social group defined by its religious, spiritual, or philosophical beliefs, or its common interest in a particular personality, object, or goal. Religions tend to follow beliefs that are published openly in books such as the Bible, Quran, or Bhagavad Gita, whereas a cult relies on secret knowledge revealed only to members by the cult's founder and leader. In a cult, everything depends on a personal relationship between the founder and his or her followers, who are required to separate themselves from the rest of the world, often being bound to prophecies with a dark apocalyptic ending. That's what we'll investigate today in this episode of the Infographic Show, What Really Happened in Waco, Texas.
Do you know anybody out there who's all about the apocalyptic? It's like apocalyptic corn out there. They just can't wait for everything to go sideways so they can live this sick fantasy that's twisted out there, huh? Yes, let's watch everybody suffer so suddenly we can make ourselves the hero in the story. If only life were really that way.
April this year marked the 25th anniversary of one of the strangest and most tragic incidents in American religious history, when a bloody siege ended between FBI agents and members of the Branch Davidian religious group in Waco, Texas. The siege had dragged on for 51 days, and during that time, the FBI negotiators had continued to seek an agreement with sect leader David Koresh. 33-year-old Koresh, born Vernon Wayne.
Now, as I approach this, now I was a kid when all this was taking place. A lot of this I have forgotten. But I don't really recall him actually violating really any real laws out there. Just keep that in mind as we're watching that.
Wayne Howell came from a dysfunctional family background. Koresh told the FBI during the late-night negotiation chats that he was a lonely child teased by other kids who called him Vernie. But to himself and to his followers in the Branch Davidian sect, Koresh was the almighty Lamb of God, commanding men to surrender their wives to him, fathering babies with girls as young as 12, and preparing his followers for the imminent apocalypse. While Koresh was the leader of the cult, the story of the Davidians begins several decades.
I don't know if that's true. Does anybody out there know if that's really true, that he was fathering children with extremely underage girls like that? I think that came out later that they were accusing him of that, but I'm not quite so sure that they found that he was guilty of that. So let's carry on.
Before his ascent to leadership. The group, also known as Shepherd's Rod, is an offshoot of the Seventh-day Adventists, a Christian religious group that today boasts roughly 19 million members worldwide. Unlike regular Christians, though, they believe that the Messiah prophesied in the biblical book of Isaiah was not Jesus, but was yet to come, as was the apocalypse. After 51 days, the FBI's negotiations had hit a wall, with Koresh responding with everything from cracking jokes to threatening to start World War III, and much of it delivered using the scriptures, in particular the book of Revelation. On the morning of Monday, April 19, 1993, with the FBI team still divided about whether negotiation could succeed, they eventually gave in and decided force was the best way to end the siege. Several hours were spent firing military-grade tear gas into the building before FBI armored vehicles moved in.
Extreme force. Gee. I don't know, did that violate any amendment laws right there? I'm not sure. Let's keep watching.
Took a turn for the worse just after noon when the main building was engulfed in flames. Strong winds saw the fire spread fast, and the flames destroyed the biblically named Mount Carmel Center, part of the Davidians' compound. Byron Sage.
Uncle Gunn's not true. Also, no women or children reported abuse as claimed by the media. Yeah, see, that's what I remembered, that it wasn't really, nothing was proven to be true. They were just basically allegations. So I wonder what they were really after him for.
Head of the FBI negotiating team in Waco, called over the loudspeaker system, "You know, David, don't do this to those people. This is not the way to end this." But on that fateful day, 76 Davidians, including Koresh, died. More than 20 of them were children, some killed by smoke inhalation and others by falling debris as the fire destroyed the building. Only 9 sect members emerged alive. There have always been questions around those last few hours at Waco. Did the FBI and the Justice Department contribute?
A legal thug operation who can do whatever the hell that they want with a badge. Isn't that wonderful? Children and women, a bunch of people got killed for, I'm not really sure what reason.
In some way to that apocalyptic ending by applying too much pressure onto the Davidians, or were they somehow responsible for causing the fire? Independent filmmaker Michael McNulty found a shell casing from a certain type of tear gas round that could have started a fire. That evidence pointed towards the FBI potentially being responsible. The Justice Department had denied using this type of tear gas for more than 6 years, but after pressure from Johnston, who, for several weeks, wrote to his superiors warning them that the new evidence contradicted what they had been saying, Attorney General Janet Reno eventually admitted that the tear gas round had been used. So the FBI was caught in a lie. Though credible experts still overwhelmingly believe that the
Caught in a lie? That's not their first rodeo.
Davidians started the fire, the admission breathed life into conspiracy theories that surround the Waco case. Who actually caused the fire has remained a point of contention, although an independent arson investigation concluded the fire was started from within the building. Another area of contention is who fired the first bullet. Gunfire broke out on the compound when agents arrived with arrest and search warrants. There was evidence that the Davidians were illegally stockpiling weapons. In fact, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms believed the community had nearly 250 weapons, including semi-automatic rifles, assault rifles, shotguns, revolvers, pistols, and hundreds of grenades. So could the gunfire have started on the inside? Amid the chaos, Koresh called 911 to report the shooting, but a transcript of the call remains inconclusive as to who exactly started firing first. Eyewitness reports are often the best way to find out what really happened. ABC News ran an article earlier this year with statements by some of the 9 survivors of the 1993 tragedy. The tank came into the front doors, the 2 double doors, and they just blew everything back. It was amazing to see a tank come through your living room, said Waco survivor and former Branch Davidian member David Thibodeau, who was inside the compound when the agents stormed the place. Those inside say the tanks destroyed the interior staircases, trapping many on the second floor. Thibodeau says he barely escaped.
Mercy. Could you imagine all the screaming children and babies? That's horrible.
The wall started to catch fire, and I could feel the heat. It singed the side of my face. I could hear my hair crackle. Former Davidian David Bunz said Koresh wouldn't let his own children go, as he believed he was the next Messiah, and so his children were special and born from the message of God. Bunz also believed Koresh had started it on purpose to be in control of the situation, but Clive Doyle, another Davidian inside during the siege, said he wasn't sure. I didn't see where it started, or who lit it or didn't light it, whether it was an accident, whether it was deliberate. There were no gas masks for the children, so the parents were soaking towels in buckets of water. One thing's for certain, Waco was a tragedy that no one would want to see repeated.
Yes, a tragedy that was probably more than likely preventable. Wonderful. Let's take a look at another one. Moving right along. Let's take a little look-see on somebody who said, how I escaped the Church of Scientology. Informer.
Galactic warrior, Lord. I would say about 90% of people in Scientology have never heard of Zini. So you don't learn about Zini until you get to OT3, which would probably cost you £100,000 to get there, so most people don't even make it that far.
Self-made, what happened to freedom of religion? Well, that's what it says. We have freedom of religion, but evidently not, right? You get some kind of a compound with a bunch of people who agree to live there in a building, and for whatever reason, it alarmed the government. So I guess it's not so free after all, right? Hey, Free, how you doing? Nice to see you again.
I first got involved with the church after reading a book of theirs. I hadn't ever heard anything about Scientology before that, so I didn't know what a cult was. I was in my mid-20s, and so I did contact the church, and I went in there, and they had me do a personality test. They kind of told me that I was a complete mess, and I needed to do some Scientology courses to sort myself out. They actually used the free personality test as how to recruit people. That's the number one way of doing it. It produces like a graph to show where you're happy in life and where you're not happy in life. They're looking for where you're not happy in life or what it is about yourself that you'd like to improve, and that they call your doing. And then once they find out what your doing is, they will use that against you because they will make you believe that only Scientology can help you handle that problem. Within a few months of first going there, I started to work there, and they spent some time trying to recruit me to join them. I wasn't initially planning to do that. They basically wore me down. They put me through what they...
Can anybody understand that? Or can you at least read the captions? If not, maybe I'll read it. Let me know if you can't hear it. One for no, you can't hear it. 2 for yeah, it's fine.
Call it a recruitment interview. And they put me there for hours. And if I refuse to sign the paper, they say, okay, well, what I'd like to do is have a read of this and then give me some materials to read. And they'd have me start reading that, and then they'd go away and they'd come back an hour later and they'd start again. That's pretty much how they do everything, how they get you to pay over money. They just won't stop asking you. Once I had agreed to do it, I had to sign a 2.5-year contract. They had told me I'd be earning probably £200 a week, which turned out to be true. I found myself working over 8.
Oh, there we go. Promising perks for being a part of the group. Going to pay him for doing God only knows what. Yeah, I think he is British.
2 hours a week and earning under £5,000 a year. I was basically teaching people courses. I started at 9 o'clock in the morning and finished at 10 o'clock tonight, Monday to Friday. And at the weekends, I worked from 9 o'clock till 6 o'clock. I must have had about 10 days off in the...
He says, I must have had about 10 days off in the whole time that I worked there.
The whole time I worked there. They have you sign
a contract, which puts you down as a volunteer.
a contract, which puts you down as a volunteer, so they don't have to pay you
So they don't have to pay you the minimum wage. Is everybody understanding this, or should I continue reading it?
minimum wage. How they pay you is a proportion of what the...
How they pay you is a proportion of what you would earn in the week. The organization pulled in that week. It could be 80 one week pounds from what he's doing.
Organization pulled in that week. It could be £80 one week. It could be £20 another.
It could be £20 another week. You've got no control over it.
the week. You've got no control over it.
They tend to cut you off from everybody. You know, it's just like some sociopathic type spouses too, right? Get you cornered off, no more friends and family.
You off from everybody, and first of all
by taking up all of your time.
All your time, they have you in there every free
They have you in there every free moment that you've got.
moment you've got. So you haven't really got as much.
So you really haven't got as much time for friends and family.
Time for friends and family, and you end up kind of putting them off automatically.
And then you kind of put them off eventually. They also encourage you not to read newspapers or listen to the news.
They also encourage you not to read newspapers or listen to the news.
They tell you it's full of lies.
Full of lies. I thought I was learning something.
I thought I was learning something, but since I've come out,
I do realize that, yes,
I do realize that, yes, I was brainwashed by them.
They got you speaking in their terms and
got you speaking in their terms and their own language.
Their own language. And so you start to see.
And so you start to see the world completely different.
The world completely differently. At one point,
they decided to send me to
a place called Flag.
A place called Flag in Florida in America. Oh yeah, so he's a Brit for sure.
In Florida in America. And they send you there.
And they send you there to become trained.
To become trained. They consider that place to be the Mecca of Scientology. The Mecca of Scientology. They
paid for me to go over there, and then once I got there,
and then once I got there, they took my actual passport.
They took my actual passport off of me, and they kept that.
Off me, and they kept that. I couldn't leave if I wanted to.
So I couldn't leave if I wanted to. You're a sitting duck.
And I was doing courses over there in America.
I missed that part. It was an even harder schedule than it was in England.
Harder schedule than it was in England. It was even longer.
It was even longer.
You had to repeat certain principles over.
And you had to repeat certain principles over and over. Chanting.
They call it Chinese school.
They call it Chinese school. That's a peculiar thing to call it.
You literally knew everything word.
You literally knew everything word for word.
The word.
They were supposed to pay so much every week for you, your room and board.
So much every week for your room and board there. If they failed to pay,
then you would work to make up that amount. Oh, gee, how generous of them. You just get to work some more to pay off what they're not covering, what they promised you. Where's the contract? Where's my attorney?
Then you would work to make up that amount.
So you'd spend so much time every week.
Probably about 25 straight.
Probably about 25 to 30 hours doing some physical job usually.
Doing some physical job usually. You'd have to do that, and then
you'd have to do that and then spend the rest of
the time on course as well. I was quite lucky if I got 6 hours.
I was quite lucky if I got 6 hours of sleep. I'm going to turn him down just a bit.
Sleep. That was a good night.
That was a good night.
Part of it they made me do.
Part of the work they made me do was to work on these buildings that they were changing from one thing to another. What, like a set or something?
They were changing from one thing to another.
They were updating them for part of the day.
For part of the day, they would have these kids come on.
They would have these kids come on there.
Yeah, they're called the EPFs.
And they were called the EPFs, and they would come and work on the site.
And they didn't have any safety in gloves.
And they didn't have any safety on any gloves and nothing. Oh, gee. Uncle Guns. He's communicating through a bowl of soup.
Nothing, and they were just sitting around the site working. At the time, I was a little bit
surprised that, and let me just read something from P. Fletch. Let me know if the $5 went through. I will, and thank you for your donation, P. Fletch. I appreciate you. I was like, why are there kids here?
Yeah, some of these kids are probably
13. Some of these kids were probably 13, 14 years old.
14 years old.
The C originally is kind of elite part of Scientology.
The kind of elite part of Scientology. They will work
probably close to 100 hours a week.
Probably close to 100 hours a week for most of them, and they get
for most of them, and they get paid about 50 a week.
paid about £50 a week.
Gosh, that's not much, is it?
Some of them seem like
It's like slave wages. Some of them seem like they were very nice people,
very nice people, and some of them
seem like very ruthless, nasty people. Yeah, just a typical church setting to me.
seem like very ruthless, nasty people. OT stands for
OT stands for operating Teethan. What the heck is that?
operating Satan.
Oh,
And it's
Thetan. Excuse me. Operating Thetan. Let me do his accent too. And it's supposed to be
supposed to be a person
a
that's
person that's really in control of their life. Oh,
really in control of their life. They're supposed to be able to
they're supposed to be able to control things with their thoughts. Mental telepathy, I guess.
control things with their thoughts, with their intention.
With their intentions. And one of the things that they teach you in Scientology is that if you have
One of the things that they teach you in Scientology is that if you have any
any critical thoughts,
critical thoughts, you're thinking bad things about
thinking
Scientology.
bad things about Scientology, it's probably because you've done something bad yourself. Ooh, how does anybody like that little twist of manipulation, huh?
Probably because you've done something bad yourself. That
tends to make you think anything bad about Scientology.
you not think anything bad about Scientology. You kind of control yourself.
You kind of control yourself and not go there mentally, because if you do, you're going to be self-punishing yourself. I bet you. Watch. Where's the flogger? Whack, whack.
Not go there mentally. But they've also got this culture.
They also got this culture where if you see anybody else doing, oh, I know about this part. They want you to snitch on all your members.
Where if you see anybody else doing anything
that's not optimum,
you need to write.
Then you need to write a report and report them.
And you haven't written the report.
And if you haven't written that report, you can get in trouble yourself for that as well. So they are instituting a snitching operation and encouraging it.
You can get in trouble yourself for that as well. It's kind of looking at.
Gee, the government doesn't do that at all, do they? Everyone's kind of looking out on everybody and kind of a snitching on everybody, yes?
And everybody can snitching and everybody,
after being there for some years,
I
realized they weren't helping anybody.
They were just making money.
They were just making money. I didn't think it was right, and I kept it to myself.
I think it was right, and I kept it to myself. I didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything.
But before you
can leave there, they have you do what they call
a security check.
Security check.
Where they ask you questions to make sure.
Where they ask you questions. Wait, I just missed that last line. It swapped so quick. And then if you haven't done anything that you shouldn't have done, let me rewind that part because I missed that little part. A security check where they ask you questions to make sure
you
haven't done anything that you should have done yourself. And oh wow, he's going really quick now. You have to see various people. Each one tries to talk you out of leaving the church, obviously.
Then they put you on
and they put you on a e-meter. You know, that machine that they use. Isn't that a lie detector machine?
E-meter, in that machine that they use. And they do a confession.
Oh, and they do a confessional on you because they believe that.
On you, because they believe that the reason that you want to leave.
The reason that you want to leave is
because you've been doing bad things.
You've been doing bad, horrible things because you're a horrible person, you know. Because they're not. They are great people. And if they really can't stop you,
then they make you sign something.
Then they make you sign something to say
you'll never talk about it.
You'll never talk about it. So an NDA. And then some like non-disclosure type forms. Which they don't give you a copy. They don't even give you a copy of it. No trace of anything. How do you like that? And then you're allowed to leave. Now I've heard from celebrities, multiple celebrities, that they will follow them around once they have distanced themselves from the church and or completely left. That they will follow you and haunt you and or threaten you.
Give you a copy off. Then you're allowed to leave.
When I was in, I was under stress all the time, and when I was out,
and when I was out, I felt free.
I felt free all of a sudden. Gee, like you can breathe suddenly, and you're not drowning anymore. I hope. I felt like, oh, I can earn money. I can do things.
I can buy things.
I can buy things. I can go places. I can go on a holiday. That's a vacation for us Yanks.
The places I can go on holiday. I kind of got my life
I kind of got my life back, you know?
back, you know. And it wasn't until about 6, 7 years
And it wasn't until about 6 or 7 years later when I started
later,
looking
and I started looking on the internet about
on the internet about Scientology that I really got it
the Scientology, that I really got it, what happened to me.
and what had happened to me.
I did realize that the whole thing
I did realize that the whole thing was a complete and utter scam. He didn't say complete and utter scam. I put that in there.
was a complete scam. I was definitely a different person
I was definitely a different person then. And I came out of
when I came out of
Scientology
Scientology, because I picked up
because I picked up a load of conspiracy theories. Gee, you think? And paranoia and stress, and shortened your life by, I don't know, probably 10, 15 years from all of it. And more broke than you should have been.
a load of conspiracy theories. I was completely off the rails.
I was completely off the rails. All that hive mentality makes you go off the rails.
I hadn't been to see the doctor for years about
I haven't been to see the doctor for years about anything
anything, because I didn't believe that doctors
because
knew.
I didn't believe that doctors knew anything. And in Scientology, they teach you to be reliant within the system of Scientology, including when you get sick, just so you know.
anything. I refused to drink
I
water
refuse
from
to
a
drink
tap
water from a tap
because it's got chlorine
because
in
it's
it.
got oh my God, it just horrible.
Virginia is supposed to be an intergalactic
See
warrior
that?
lord.
I go to click pause and the ad popped.
You're more
It happened.
susceptible to hypnosis.
He says, let me go back one more click. Because he stopped drinking tap water because it's got chlorine in it and fluoride in it, which we all know is bad for us. But you shouldn't be that paranoid,
Chlorine in it and fluoride, and it's probably for poison.
which I believed were poisons.
From what I've learned from cult
What I've learned
experts,
from
normally
cult
a person that
experts.
joins a cult
Normally, a person that joins a cult is in a vulnerable position. I would definitely agree with that.
is in a vulnerable position, and it could happen to
And it could happen to anybody, including people on YouTube.
anybody. In my theory, I think
My theory, I think, if you're more susceptible to hypnosis,
if you're more susceptible to hypnosis,
you're more likely to get into a cult. Now, that's something I never thought about. I've never tried to be hypnotized either. I don't think I would be hypnotized very easily. But did you hear that? If you are more susceptible to hypnosis, then you're a much more of a target for being in a cult.
you could get into a cult.
Let's see what the thoughts of the chat are saying. Let's see. Great new show topic. Yeah, what is that one? I just missed it. What's the new show topic? What is it, Uncle Guns? Scientology, my friend's sister. Oh, here we go. My friend's sister got into that, and there was no talking to her. Oh, let's do a little backtracking here. Self-made, which came from Scientology, which came from Jack Parson with L. Ron Hubbard, stole his wife and his boat. Stole the wife and the boat. Yes. So it's all based off of science fiction. Snitches get stitches. Hey Tarif, nice to have you in here. I hate it when ads do that. Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry about that. Now, interestingly enough, I'm going to actually talk to a friend of mine. I haven't spoken to her in a little bit, but I'm sure she might be interested. She is a ex-Mormon. And oddly enough, I also dated somebody who was hiding the fact that they were going to join the Jehovah's Witness Church. And I had to go to that thing 3 different times. 3. 1, 2, 3. It was very strange. Let's just talk about the Jehovah's Witnesses first. It's very, very strange. How they even run the services were very odd to me. They kind of read excerpts out of their the Tower booklet, and then they discuss certain types of topics, and then they pass the mic around to everybody in the congregation if they have something that they want to say, or grievances, or anything like that. And I noticed some of the biggest grievances that they had were to common questions that get answered if they were allowed to read the Bible, because they're not allowed to read the Bible. They have their version of the Bible, much like Mormons and whatnot do. So Those people are very, very weird. You're not supposed to celebrate holidays, any of them, any birthdays. You're not allowed to talk about really anything and have any outside friends. You're completely encouraged, just like all these other cults, to stay within the system and not ever branch out. And let's just say that didn't end well. They asked me, would you convert? And my response was, hell no. I don't like people thinking for me. To which I was told, well, I guess that's okay. You're allowed to marry somebody who's not supposed to be a Jehovah's Witness. It just makes things easier. And their salvation is also very similarly based off of the Mormons, which is people that you can get into the church, and they go door to door. And so that's how that one works. But this lady friend of mine, she escaped the Mormon church, and she was getting very, very high up there. And I think it would be very interesting to get her in here and talk about what she experienced, including the garments that you were supposed to wear that you're not allowed to see. And you kind of get dressed blindfolded in the dressing room. And then they take you to another room to which you have to go through this series of information in order for you to get to that higher end temple. And then you're really in. Everybody else is just kind of the rest of the bees of the hive until you get to that particular mark. And her story was pretty horrifying, to be quite frank with you. And I'm going to talk to her this week, actually, and see if she wants to come on and talk about it. She's a good-looking broad. She's like 6'1", blonde, blue eyes, fair skin. I miss her. We'll get a hold of her and talk to her soon. Hi, OTW Live. Nice to have you in here. And let's see, what else? The Emperor of Masculinity, Tarif. Wow, what a cult. Heard Tom Cruise was part of it. Yes, Tom Cruise is still in Scientology. They have like 3 or 4, like 2 really big churches in the middle of like Hollywood area, Brentwood and all that stuff. Damn, School of Thought, you know a lot about Scientology and other religions. How come? Because I am a preacher's daughter and you get exposed to other things. I didn't learn as much about the occult, though, but I know a few things here and there, which, I'm kind of learning along with the rest of you. So, and on top of it, I went through that whole cycle of life where I was like, is this the only God? Can there be more than one? Is this the correct religion, or can this one possibly be incorrect? And there's more, I went through that whole thing, and I studied a lot of different religions, and I read at least half of the Quran. I went through the whole gamut before I made my decision and said, okay, you're right, it is the right one. Let's see, what else is he saying? Wonder how much. The Emperor says 6'1", Amazon. Yeah, she's tall. She's really tall. I felt like a shrimp next to her. Let's see. Let's get the next one ready to go. Unless Self wants to come up here and talk about our favorite subject that we talk about. No? You want to come up here, Self, and talk about this? I think it'd be a good time. So let's talk about now and present the red pill. And is it a cult? Let's take a little look-see.
Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Do you know what I'm talking about? The manosphere. Do you know what it is? The manosphere is everywhere, but mostly on Reddit and YouTube. It is all around YouTube. It is a toxic cesspool of sad, lonely men who blind themselves from the truth.
What truth?
That the reason they can't get girlfriends is because they're assholes, Neo. And that manosphere ideologies like the red pill, men going their own way, and inceldom are all rooted in a bunch of
because they're all assholes. Well, assholes do tend to chase nicer people away, or just people in general. I mean, kind of duh, right?
garbagey nonsense. You take the red pill and you become an abusive douchebag. Or you can take the clear pill. If you take the clear pill, you will see clearly, and you will see through the trash fire of bullshit that the manosphere is trying to shove down your throat.
Oh, dear God. What did you just get me into? All right, let's rock and roll with this bitch.
Remember, all I'm offering you is the truth, nothing more. Okay, that's enough of that. The Matrix really wasn't even a very good movie.
Is the sound better? Do I need to rewind anything? Could you hear it at all? Let me know.
And the fact that the red pill bases their entire ideology
It is. It's 1.25.
around a sophomoric 90s Keanu Reeves vehicle tells you a lot about what we're dealing with here.
You could say that.
In case you haven't heard of the manosphere, it's this kind of greasy underbelly of the internet. It's where men go to con each other out of money and teach each other how to abuse women. Today we'll be talking about
How to high five each other, too, and abuse women.
the oldest and largest sector of the manosphere, the red pill community. I'm American Johnson, and this is the first edition of the Manosphere is Terrible
You're going to make me giggle. You know that, right?
YouTube series. And yes, that's the best name I could come up with. Episode
Hey, Avoidant. Nice to have you in here. Remember to like and subscribe. I think you were in here before, so welcome back.
1, the red pill is a cult. The origins of the manosphere are murky and seem to stretch back to at least the 1970s, when pickup artists wrote books and made videos about how to score tons of groovy chicks. We'll talk more about pickup artists in a future video, but for now, just know that the pioneers of the manosphere were dudes like this.
Hi, I'm Michael Jeffries. So let's watch now and see as they flirt with magic.
Need a light?
Sure. And that is Hot Match.
Fast forward to 2000.
Those guys are dweebs. I mean, just average Joes, but they're dweebs. Did you see that?
2012, which is when the Red Pill subreddit was founded by Reddit user PK Atheist, who was later revealed to be New Hampshire Republican State Representative Robert Fisher. The Red Pill quickly grew to become the unholy nexus of the manosphere, giving angry men a central place to come together and develop their latent misogyny and toxic masculinity into a full-fledged ideology that preaches hatred of women. The strategies and tactics used by the
He's not wrong. Everything I've been listening to is exactly what that man just said. Hatred of women. I told you last stream, it is the equivalent of feminism, and it is designed to keep you pigeonholed and make odds with women so then you can't get together at all. Buyer beware.
The Red Pill community are very similar to the methods used by cults, extremist religious terrorist groups, and white supremacist organizations. The first step is identifying and attracting people who are susceptible to recruitment. The kinds of men who are drawn to the Red Pill invariably exhibit traits that make good candidates for cults: dependency, unassertiveness, gullibility, low tolerance for uncertainty, disillusionment with the status quo, naive idealism, desire for spiritual meaning. Cult recruiters tend to skulk around places.
And I've also noticed it also seems to attract narcissists, sociopathic types, which if you have one trait, you normally have the second, and control freaks. It is designed to give you control over something that you view as a weaker vessel.
Where people go when they're down and out. This makes the internet a perfect recruiting ground for cult-like groups like the Red Pill, especially sites like Reddit and YouTube, which are full of sad, lonely men. The main methods of cult recruitment are deception, manipulation, and isolation. Red Pillers try very hard to present their ideology as benign, especially in public-facing communications like this excerpt from an interview with the Red Pill moderator. We're accused of misogyny almost daily. I won't deny that the language is colorful and there's a lot of emotion expressed by the men on the forum, but before the Red Pill, there wasn't really a way for these guys to express their feelings. Let's say there's a guy who just says, "I hate women." I think that's textbook misogyny.
He hates women, or is he a homosexual?
We let them say that because there's nowhere else for a man to blow off steam. But they stay, they learn, they vent, they get advice, they get back on the horse. The end game of our advice is not to hate women, it's to understand them so you can stop being so darn frustrated with them. You see how this guy downplays the misogyny and emphasizes values that would resonate with mainstream audiences? The most harmful aspects of the Red Pill are buried and veiled in the ideology. Becoming a veteran Red Pillar involves learning a complex system of code words and theory so that the systematic abuse and exploitation of women can be discussed largely in subtext.
Theories based off of the very stats and figures that they say. They don't believe in government facts and what the government is doing, but yet they keep placing all of their theories upon everything that the government puts out about divorce, about women, about all kinds of psychology, the whole nine relationships, but yet they say they don't believe in that stuff. So how can you pull from one and then still not the other? You can't do it.
I'll go into more detail about this in my next video, but for now, just know that a newcomer to the red pill is unlikely to know the true nature of this group when they're poking around in the forums for the first time. They are instead deceived into believing that the red pill ideology is a positive and female-friendly philosophy that's all about empowering men and making them better.
And since I've been in some of these said men's spaces, they've not been too friendly to me. And I'm pretty traditional, actually. And I'm not a feminist. So what's up?
More successful people. Red pillars identify the special needs and desires of potential recruits and target them viciously. They zero in on the vulnerabilities of these newcomers and present the ideology accordingly. Lonely, frustrated newcomers, already prone to self-doubt, are asked to assess themselves in a way that is intended to make them feel even more weak and pathetic than they already do. This creates an immediately unbalanced power dynamic. You, the newcomer, are an ignorant loser. I, the red pill veteran, am a wise and powerful alpha male. Sit down, shut up, and listen to what your superiors have to say.
Alpha male. Alpha does not translate into douchebag. Douchebaggery, to be exact. So if you think you're an alpha by being an asshole and a douchebag, I hate to tell you this, that's not really what being an alpha is. You need to go really look up the term, what it is an alpha is, and how they lead by example. And they go against the grain. They don't just follow people blindly, okay? And they do what is right oftentimes when it's difficult and not popular, unapologetically.
That's the kind of greeting you can expect in the red pill community. There's always a sense of mysticism and secret hidden knowledge. Veteran red pillars present themselves as knowing deeper truths, and newbies are presented as insignificant and inferior due to their lack of experience and understanding. Here are some examples of typical advice given by veteran red pillars to newcomers to the forums. Look in the mirror and ask yourself if you want to continue to look this way and degrade over time, or if you want to be fit, clean, and powerful. Ask yourself how much of your self-esteem is based on your own accomplishments rather than on external sources of validation.
It seems like they seem to be wanting a lot of exterior validation. And if you need a lot of exterior validation, then you're definitely not an alpha type. I'll tell you that right now.
Significant others, etc. Adjust accordingly. When the pill goes down, the world around you crumbles. The illusions you've built your worldview on dissipate. Your mind tries to fight it for a while, but the world finally makes sense the more you read and put into practice. Most cults and extremist groups rely on isolating new recruits to ensure complete dominance and indoctrination. If you're completely new to the red pill community, one of the first steps you're told to take is going monk mode for a period of 3 months. Monk mode means what it sounds like. You are expected to isolate yourself, not go on any dates, and work on learning red pill ideology, and quote-unquote improving yourself and clearing your head during this time. Of course, what they mean is sinking deeper and deeper into red pill ideology.
Yeah, that's what it means, is so you can get brainwashed in enough time in order for you to navigate after that 3-month period. Oh, mercy.
Indoctrination. Here's advice from one of the most popular red pill blogs on going into monk mode. If you accept you're a low-value human being, but you want to rectify this and become better, cutting off mundane people is crucial. Mundane people, also known as average.
What does the chat think about what's going on? What do you guys think about this red pill stuff? I'll start reading some of your statements. Let me know.
People don't share your ambition and will jealously deride you every step of the way on your path to self-betterment. Oh yeah, that dude doesn't sound anything like a cult leader. Red pillars further isolate their online disciples by banning discussions of certain topics and labeling any opposing viewpoints as absurd, naive, and unworthy of the attention of the community. Feminism is portrayed as a nefarious plot to control men and put women in command of humanity. Red pillars are encouraged to dismiss, ignore, and deride feminism as little more than a collective temper tantrum thrown by the overly emotional women of the world. Here's a typical example, a response to a thread titled, starkly enough, "Feminism is cancer." Feminism isn't cancer.
Sorry
it's
about
cold.
that.
Drink some OJ, hit the gym, and don't worry about it.
Let's hit the pause button and see what's going on here. Let's see. Joffrey. Is this about actually saying red pill ideology is garbage, or is it a joke? Because if you're serious, I'm completely with Toy. I'm saying what I presented this stream about, which is anything that starts to take the form of a cult is not a positive on anybody. So in that case, possibly. The Emperor of Masculinity. I'm 6'5", 280. Need to lose the weight, though me. Well, honey, it takes time. Just cut back the carbs. Not literally you going to therapy, but these red pill Tories. I remember when the red pill meant going your own way for a bit instead of focusing on the negative. And when I came around and was first exposed to it last year, I just thought it meant, like the red pill, the other pill, for government, anti-government. Are you awake to what's going on? That's what I thought it meant. Boy, was I wrong.
about it. Attempting to bring up any sort of discussion that contradicts red pill ideology is dismissed and shut down immediately. For example, when one new user linked to a blog post that challenged red pill philosophy, these are the kinds of responses he received. No one gives a flying f***. Read the sidebar and read around the posts. Take what you will. Shut up. No one cares about your opinion or positions, beliefs either. It's not
Daniel Romano, it's becoming vengeful. I think we're past the vengeful part. I think we're now going to full-blown control freak and iron fist.
not worth refuting, much less linking and talking about. Low intellect construct like this blog should be ignored. And what was the red pill reaction to the Me Too movement? Well, there were some pretty horrible threads, including Me Too, attention-seeking sleuths. All women are like that. But ultimately, the red
Attention-seeking sleuths.
pill shut down all discussion of the subject, punctuated by this mod thread. The Me Too movement is a beta trap. No more threads about it. Newcomers are inundated with the sense that outside perspectives that challenge the red pill ideology are...
The Me Too movement is another distraction meant to keep you distracted and not focusing on what's actually going on around you, like a lot of the other stuff that's going on that's being pushed by social media. I'm not for the Me Too movement either.
dangerous and wrong. The red pill community must be the only source of knowledge, and members must focus solely on the red pill ideology. Once a recruit commits to taking the pill, full-scale indoctrination begins. The deception and manipulation is ramped up and combined with more involved tactics, such as induced dependency. The red pill demands...
How many gentlemen out there are dependent upon whoever they feel the best connection for the men's space coach? They don't ever seem to cut the umbilical cord. Has anybody ever thought about that? They never get free and can cut the umbilical cord. Instead, they stay on the hook, buying books, mugs, shirts, giving donos to hear dudes talk trash about women. That's mostly untrue. And to be empowered in more of a control freak, douchebaggery way, and to execute an iron fist, thinking that if you have a woman, she's somebody that you can dominate rather than appreciate as a gift and a partner and a lover.
that users submit utterly to the red pill ideology. Members are presented with complex and draconian instructions for self-improvement and are expected to comply with red pill principles completely. Analysis and dissenting opinions which contradict the core tenets of red pill ideology.
Self-made. Super chat pay pigs. Exactly. I hear a cha-ching every single time that I watch those coaches go on. That's all I see. And that's all they see. They don't care about these guys. Not really.
Are harshly rebuked. Users are also inculcated with dread. If you don't do precisely as the red pill instructs you, if you fall for the lies of feminism in the mainstream media, if you dare to stray from the path set out for you by the ideology, you will be doomed to the life of misery and loneliness you came from. You will be a
You're gonna be miserable and lonely because you're a douchebag. How about that? Hey, Kuro, the Black Prophet, how you doing? Nice to have you in here. And Selfmade says, but hey, we're saving lives, but pay me. Exactly. They're not saving anybody's lives. And you know what? The hustle can only last for so long. Wake up.
loser for the rest of your life. This process of indoctrination never really ends. Members of the red pill community are subjected to these techniques on a daily basis, so long as they stay active within the community. This is why it's so important for us to try to rescue young men from falling into this online cult of misogyny as early in the process as possible. We need to be presenting young men who are in personal crisis with better and more positive alternatives to the red pill. Remember, the main reason that guys are taking the red pill is because they are lonely and frustrated and have no one else to turn to. They crave a sense of belonging and a direction in their life. Red pill ideology offers seductive answers to all of their questions and provides a sense of belonging and acceptance that can be comforting for someone who feels lost and alone. We as feminists need to be building.
You know, I understand that there's a lot of guys out there who are missing that strong, mature, masculine presence in their life. But you know what? So are a lot of females. We are also missing strong, feminine role models in the home. It's not just a one-way street. We're both lacking on both sides, to be quite frank. And it's a sad situation that's going on. Women used to be strong. We're not even strong anymore. There's not very many broads like me left anymore.
Safety nets for these men to fall into so that they can learn better and more healthy ways of expressing their masculinity and interacting with women and building their social skills and self-confidence. In the next episode of The Manosphere is Terrible, we'll talk about
The Emperor Masculinity says, what's your thoughts on nice guys finish last? I don't really think nice guys finish last. I think people who are doormats finish last, and that can be male and female, because I was a doormat at one time. I was too nice. Okay? And people who are too nice get used up. Welcome to the jungle, baby.
Manipulation and abuse techniques that the red pill teaches men to use against women. In the
Hey, Rishi, where you been?
meantime, if you want to watch more videos or read more articles about feminism, toxic masculinity, and all that fun stuff, you can check out my website at non-compete.com. I'm American Johnson, and I thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, why don't you give it a subscribe and a thumbs up? Maybe leave a little comment. If you didn't like it, you can give it a thumbs down and tell me what a beta cuck I am. See you next week.
What a beta cuck he is. All right, that's pretty funny. I appreciated that. I enjoyed that video immensely. Does anybody have any thoughts? And I would be more than happy to read and address them. In the meantime, we're coming to the end. Not just yet, but I'm going to finish reading the rest of that blog. And I'm going to recalculate some of the traits that you can look for. Let me put on my 4 eyes for everybody. Yes, the teacher is in. Librarian, possibly. I missed my calling. Charismatic personality. Cult leaders often have a magnetic charm that attracts its followers. Authoritarian leadership. They exercise absolute control over the group and expect unquestioning obedience. Don't question me. Just do what you've been told. But don't do as I do, of course. Manipulative techniques, using psychological manipulation to control their followers, including love bombing, isolation, and fear tactics. Promised salvation or enlightenment, claiming to have special knowledge or insight that can lead followers to salvation or enlightenment. I say hogwash. Exclusive beliefs, promote beliefs and practices that are unique to the group, often claiming these are the only true or valid ones. Isolation from outside influences, encouraging or enforcing separation from family, friends, and the outside world to maintain that control. Financial exploitation, often require followers to make significant financial contributions or sacrifices. That can go across the board, from every cult to every denomination and to every social club out there, including the men and the female spaces. Exploitation of followers may exploit followers emotionally, physically, or sexually. Creation of a us versus them mentality, fostering a sense of being special or chosen, creating an adversarial view of outsiders, or in this case, women. They're all evil. They're all out to get you. The Quran says that also, by the way. Perceived infallibility. Cult leaders often present themselves as infallible and beyond reproach. I can do no wrong. I can never fall. I can never make a mistake. And if you didn't listen to what I said and you made a mistake, it's because you weren't paying enough attention. It will always come back on you. Just remember that. Let's see. What is the chat having to say? Does the age of a woman affect their ability to be receptive to certain types of men? That's a peculiar question. Well, the younger you are, male or female, more oftentimes you can get taken advantage of. Is that what you're talking about? So I would say if you're too young, you're going to be taken more advantage of, which is why certain types of people will always gravitate to more and more younger women, not just because they're more attractive, but because mentally they're very, very easy to manipulate and to control and to mold into what you want. I should know, I was with an older man who did it to me. Reader of Pain, star, so you know, in the lineup of vertical lives, the person next to you is a cringe ghost. Hunter, Tween belong for subs. You're a much more entertaining watch. I thank you so much, Reader of Pain. I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's see. Could you see yourself? I didn't type this, but hey, could you see yourself joining a cult? For me? No. I did not. I didn't type that. Aren't you funny? Let's see. Cults from a psychological perspective. Well, we just went over that, honey. Uncle Guns. You be a dirty old sailor. Join, and Trudy says, join my clown cult. Does the cult of the school of thought count? Not yet. Give me time. I'll make it more interesting, and then we'll talk about it later. Let's see. The Emperor says, I have been accused of running a toxic masculinity cult by some people. I have no idea who you are associated with or what you're doing in order for me to comment. So I'm not going to comment on something I don't know about. Let's see. And everybody's giggling hysterically. Who the fudge is Troy? I don't know what you guys... Way to give the prestige away. All right, you guys. I don't know what you're talking about, but let's continue on. Let's click this one off. Let's finish with a friend of mine. Let's give him a shout out. Playing with Fire, Alex. And he has something to say about what is also going on here at the manosphere. Let me get it primed and ready to go for everybody. To which he says, it's a weirdo cult. Isn't that funny? Let's make sure that this playback speed is 1.25 for everybody. All right.
Looks are the most important factor for man's dating success.
No, it's not. Looks is not the most important factor of dating success. It will help you. Being good looking in any industry, in any endeavor, will always help you. Being nicely kept, nicely dressed, clean, and put together will always put you ahead of somebody else. But women are not just going for the chat. I hate to tell everybody this.
My website, chatify.me, is the ultimate hub.
Oh my God, I'm going to have to check out chatify.me. I want to see what this is.
Where you can get your face analyzed and chatified.
I'm not going to waste your time. The single best thing that you can do as a young man to improve your looks is to build an aesthetic physique.
She's an object and you're everything else.
Yeah. If you're not obsessed with money, you're a born money. Yeah. You should be obsessed with money.
All right, you know what? Let me cut straight to the chase. You need to get rich. And you need to get rich quickly.
Obsessed with money. You have to make enough money in order to get abroad. Is that where this is headed?
So as you can tell, this video is going to be quite different than what you're used to seeing on this channel. But before we begin, I want to show you guys two very interesting pieces of data that are going to set the scene. The first was a survey that was done on WeWalls' channel. It goes like this. The answer in the last 2 years has got 15,000 votes. 17% say better. Okay, not sure what world they're living in. 20% say most of the same. And 50% say worse. That means that 1 out of 2 people who watch WeWalls' Black Pill channel think that the manosphere has been going downhill. Now let's take a look at Men's Maxing Channel. It says, hey brother, which bad habit do you want to get rid of but can't? And there's a habit that basically beat video games, that beat TV, that beat even internet pornography. You know what it is? Watching too many videos on YouTube.
How many times have you been out in public and you've watched couples and or young couples, let's just say high school, college and up, 20-something, and you see them and they're like on a date or they're in a group setting and they're looking at their phones. Do we have a attention deficit disorder going on now? Yeah, you're going to miss out on the present if you constantly got your nose in your phone like a tard, just saying.
That's right. 45% of people said that the biggest thing that's getting in the way of their success is that they
Uncle Guns, that's Self's idea. So take it up with the executive producer. Thank you.
consume too much videos on YouTube. And this is coming from Men's Maxing Channel, which is very much action-oriented. The purpose of this video is essentially to understand what the hell is going on here. Not only why is the manosphere going downhill, according to most people, but also what type of content is being pushed more and what type of device are people gravitating towards, because all these things are very much intertwined. And we're going to really analyze the type of content that is being pushed, first from a black pill perspective, and then from a red pill perspective. And as we go through these examples, try to look for patterns, because there's going to be a big one that you can't miss. Now,
okay, wait a second. I have to read this one. The Emperor says, I wouldn't be listening to a man who criticizes the red pill, but lives his life as a blue pillar. Well, I don't know how he lives his life. I understood he was more of a POA, pickup artist. So I don't know. but doesn't mean that he can't have an observation that's true about what's going on. Everything I've presented tonight is basically coming to a crescendo of showing that things turn into a cult if the balances aren't left checked.
Now, on the black pill side of things, we're seeing a massive increase in looks maxing topics. Even on our channel, which is primarily game focused, according to YouTube analytics, a lot.
Trippy, what are the differences between pills? To me, it's all silly. I only know about 3 to 4 of them. I've not been around enough to know all of them, and I refuse. Did everybody hear me? I refuse to buy a fucking book by any of these guys, okay? In order to get a more of an insight on it. You want to give me a free copy, I will educate myself more thoroughly on it. Until then, I'm not going to give them my money. But red pill is obviously what we've presented. Blue pill is more of like a cuck mentality. Black pillars are the so-called ultimate truth, but kind of doomsy about everything. And, after that, the hell if I know. Here we go.
A lot of people watching videos are searching for things like mewing and face ratings. A lot of these guys are becoming obsessed about their height.
I'd like to know why dudes are doing face ratings. That's pretty homosexual to me. Shouldn't they be asking the opposite sex of the very thing that they are trying to contribute to and get a hold of? More women, right? Ask the ladies, don't ask the dudes. If anything, the dudes should be helping with like fitness and how to dress properly. But, face ratings? It's rainbow.
We're jerking off to various chats on the internet, very productive stuff like that. And that's when they're not too busy complaining and whining in the comments. You're also seeing a lot of black pill defeatism. For example, my business partner is Indian and he's relatively on the unattractive side. Whenever he does a video that he releases with an attractive girl, a lot of these guys in the comments will be like, oh, she's a paid actress. Oh, she looks so uncomfortable. Oh, she's probably screaming for help, right? The mental gymnastics they will do to basically justify their beliefs are insane. These guys will literally believe that if you're not chatting, you approach a girl on the street, she's probably going to call the police on you. This is the level of delusion that we're talking about. The problem with this is it creates a very negative mindset, a very toxic type of environment. So basically, these guys truly believe that if you're not Giga Chat, your only options are rope or cope. As it will.
Oh, God. Ugh. All right. I've been approached by all kinds of guys. Really great looking ones, not so great looking ones. I've never been rude to any of them. You know what the trick is? Approach women. Just approach them. It's a numbers game. It's like sales. Eventually, one will say yes. You understand me? Go, gentlemen, go. I give you the secret power. Just keep approaching women. Be friendly. Be nice. Be a gentleman. Don't be a dog. All right? And by God, make sure you're showered.
Often remind you in the comments. Now, on the red pill side of things, you're actually seeing something somewhat similar. To be fair, red pillers aren't obsessed solely with looks. They diversify and they focus on things like money and status as well. So they say gym max, money max, and status max. Also, they're very focused on becoming experts understanding female nature.
Oh, sweet mother. God help me. You've got to have a car, the most expensive car, the most expensive mansion. Got to have several $1 million in the bank. No, you don't. No, you don't. Start by being a gentleman. That's where you start. Okay. The only women who are interested in all of the exterior shit that you can give them are gold diggers. Okay. And you can pick a gold digger up anywhere and she won't play with you if you're not. That's just how it is. But if you want a gold digger, you're not really going to have a very good relationship or possibly any loyalty. It'll be who can pay for what next afterwards. But, it's up to you. You're the captain of your own ship.
They do a lot of mental masturbation, try to understand every possible theory, pretty much do everything besides actually going out and talking to girls. And this is perfectly reflecting the type of content creators that have really taken off in the last several years. Think about who are the most popular content creators in the manosphere. We got Fresh and Fit, Just Pearly Things, and Andrew.
Hurricane, I didn't write that. My hands are right here. I have somebody who thinks they're funny writing all kinds of stuff for me, which is fine. It's entertaining, but it's not me doing that. I didn't say anything about chest hair. Thank you.
Tate. What do they all have in common? Well, they all talk about looks, money, and status, and they also all talk about how much modern women suck. They're all essentially regurgitating the same red pill talking points over and over again. None of them are saying anything new or anything that's going to improve your life substantially in any way. Now,
no, they're just repeating the same mantra over and over and over and over again. What is my private chat saying? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, so that's another key thing to focus on is when you're listening to people and all they can do is say the same thing over and over and over and over again. And, they can't add anything new. There's no other insights. You're being taken for a ride, and when it comes to women's nature, which is basically just human nature, and they want to tell you it's like, which kind of pisses me off. It's like they describe watching women and their nature as like observing animals in the wild, and you're just watching them and, they're purely driven off of instinct and emotion. And at any moment they could bolt if you scare them too hard or whatever the case may be. No bullshit. Women think, we think, thank you very much. Maybe some these days are a little less than others, but we do. Let's encourage human interaction, critical thinking abilities, and manners and etiquette. Let's bring that back. Let's start that movement. How about that?
Compared to content creators like me or Todd V and Jesus. Now look, me and Todd V have a lot of disagreements, but the premise behind our channel is actually very similar. Here are some actionable, practical things you can do to improve your dating results.
Self-made says, smacks, silence, and sandwiches. You want all those carbs, do you, Self? How about a grilled steak, baked potato, some asparagus, maybe some cream spinach? I don't know. Sandwich. I only want a sandwich for so much. It's kind of gets old.
Results with women, right? But that stuff is a lot less sexy. Now, look, I'm not complaining about the lack of views. I'm very happy with the growth of my channel, what I've been able to achieve. However, most people have given the option between practical, actionable advice and watching Myron dunk on some bimbo. They're going to pick the latter because at the end of the day, most people don't want to do the work. They want to just mentally masturbate. Andrew Tate content especially has really been causing people.
He just said mentally master. Can you say masturbate on here? Mentally masturbate. I don't know. Yeah.
To become more obsessed with money now than ever. All this talk about Bugattis and Rolexes is distracting you from what's actually going to help you with women, which is developing your social skills, right? Money is great. It can be very beneficial to most parts of your life. However, it's not going to substantially improve your prospects with women unless you're going for gold diggers and you're literally giving them money.
Wait a second. You don't like potatoes and no spinach at all? Why? What is wrong with you? Make other stuff. I'm just saying.
Which is something that I think 99% of people in this community don't want to do. And Andrew Tate is not alone. There's other channels like Artist Hamosi, which are, again, just dedicated to money, money, money. Literally, Fresh and Fit says that don't even bother getting into a relationship unless you're making six figures, which anyone who has...
Okay, Fresh and Fit, the dude likes men. He's a homosexual. You're going to take advice from a homosexual who tells you to go hang out with men more than women? Yeah, you know why? Because he likes turning you straight guys out. Yeah, I said it. I did theater. I know how it works. They love that shit. If they can turn a straight dude out, that is like winning the ticket to the lottery.
An ounce of brain knows is pure nonsense. And then there's the other side of the coin, which is dunking on modern women. Channels like Darius M literally get millions of views a month by shitting on modern women. They paint a caricature what a modern woman is. She's a feminist, she's an SJW, she's going to take her kids, she's going to hypergamy her way up, and she's basically going to screw you over the first chance she gets. And the only way you can have a successful relationship is by traveling to a third world country and meeting a wife there. Now, again, there's elements of truth to what they're saying. I'm sure women are cheating now more than they did in the past. I'm sure there's also probably shitty women in the 50s and the 70s. Every generation had shitty women, and every generation has good women, including now. There's great girls out there. And what they should be focused on is like, hey, guys, here's how you develop really good social skills, confidence, and charisma. Here's how you go out there and how you screen for the right girl. Here's how you should be in a relationship. Here's how you make sure you're not being taken advantage of, right? Nope, it's that modern women suck. And what you need to focus on is looks, money, status, right? Which
it was just all superficial. Looks, money, status. Okay, and then after you've achieved the looks, money, and status, and you're a douchebag, and you're so corrupt on the inside, nobody can stand you. Then what are you going to do? Just keep going through the bodies and saying next. I would say to that. What did I just hear? Who's beeping? Are you beeping, Daniel? I just brought Daniel.
No, I'm not beeping.
You're not beeping. Is that you?
I may have been beeping. It happens sometimes.
You hanka.
I really can't help it. It just happens.
Okay. All right. No. Stop.
What?
Oh, God.
Which again is not going to really help you when it comes to improving your dating prospects. And then, of course, there's the drama part. The manosphere has become the drama sphere. Wee Waffles had a very interesting thing he said during one of his live streams, which he said is that a lot of these channels, they're trying to tell you how to become, a better man, how to become very masculine men, are actually very feminine in their behavior because they engage in bickering, drama, and all kinds of feminine.
Okay, I was going to say this and I lost my train of thought when I brought you guys up here. These guys, you need to work on what's going on internally also. If you need to see a therapist so you can fix some of your douchebaggery ways, by all means, my God, get it done, gentlemen. Let's remember etiquette. Let's remember manners. Those are all things that will win over the opposite sex, not just your money and your status. All you're going to do is attract HOES. Can you say hoes on YouTube? I don't know. You're going to just attract hoes. I don't know. I'm trying not to.
Technically, you can say whatever you want, but
yeah, but I don't want
just not recommended.
I don't want to get monetized later on or have somebody strike or however the hell it works on here. So, there's only so much you can do with the exterior, and then you have to work on the interior. Okay, that's life. That's how it works.
Nonsense. So, have you guys noticed the big pattern here? If you haven't, I'm gonna tell you what it is. It is the focus, obsession on the external. On the black pill side of things, it's looks. Looks is the only things that matter. Forget about everything else. It's their mindset. Red pill is a little bit better because in addition to looks, like Jim Max, and they also talk about improving your money and stats. However, it's still all very external things. And the unfortunate reality is if you just focus on the external, you're going to be disappointed at some point in your dating career because it's not enough. I don't see too.
Didn't I just say that? He just validated me what I just said. It won't be enough in the end.
What are you talking about in your chat?
The exterior. One of you are typing something. My hands are over here on the mouse.
No, that's got to be you. You're the only one who can do it.
Oh, yeah. Except for you'll hear me do this.
Too many content creators besides me and a few other people talking about how to get over your limiting beliefs, how to get over approach anxiety, how to become more confident, how to become more charismatic, how to step up your risk, how to get over any inner trauma that you have that could be holding you back. Nope, it's just external. Because the kind of stuff that I mentioned requires you to go out there and do the hard work. And hard work isn't sexy, which means it's going to get a lot less views. Also,
his accent came out right there. Did anybody catch that? I heard his Russian accent right there.
I think the drama stuff really looking down.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Thinking this is such a toxic community. It's a bunch of grown men acting like 12-year-old girls who are constantly bickering, going back and forth, right? It's becoming a very toxic environment instead of 10 years ago being a very positive environment. So the question is, what can you do about it? And I think the big thing is that you need to take a very holistic approach. You need to combine the external, which I think is great. Go to the gym, get your money situation in order, not for the girls, but simply for yourself, with the internal, the kind of stuff that I mentioned. You need to do both. You need to take a very holistic approach because if you don't, again, you're not going to achieve the kind of dating life you want. And that's ultimately why I think a lot of people are becoming disillusioned with the manosphere because they're following this very superficial advice. It's not giving them the kind of results they want. Combined with the drama, they're looking at this and they're saying, this crap doesn't work. But it.
Another key factor is if you're going to keep going for females, I'm not going to call them ladies because that would be a stretch. If you're going to keep going for ladies who act like they're not very feminine and they have horrible manners and they look like they're on the OnlyFans or walking the streets, and that's the main thing you're attracted to, then you're not going to get anything of quality either. So you need to adjust what it is that you are finding yourself attracted to in order to achieve the next goal. Find an actual good mate and an actual good mother and an actual lady, not just some ghetto hoe out there.
I think there's 1 second of this video left.
Yeah, there's only 1 second. So
nice. I do that to myself all the time, by the way. I really do.
Thank you, Alex, for validating what I said and proving that one point. Here, I'll just click that screen off and we'll just go to the audience and then us three will sit here and have a little bit of.
Don't forget to check that thing.
Oh, yes, I will check that thing. So what do you guys think about the red pill, the cult, the whole thing that I've been showing? What are you guys thinking about any of this stuff, the cults?
I think it's a bunch of rules for how to live your life, but only if you're the people who tell you how to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it only works for the people who are out there, or it seemingly works. They want you to believe that it works, but in reality, it obviously doesn't. It's not a lifestyle. It's mostly just like tips for doing shit that you're probably not doing anyway. You know? It's like, I listen to this guy who tells me to go out to the bar and meet women, but I never leave my house. It's not working. You know? I better give him more money.
Oh, man. I know. Yes, P. Fletch, I received the dono. Thank you so much for the dono, sir. I appreciate that.
Woo!
That's I think my first or second dono ever on here. So.
Oh, I thought Reader said he gave one too, but I guess not.
I think he did. And thank you also, Reader. I appreciate you.
Yeah, like if you're having a problem ever checking those, go directly to your PayPal and look at the balance, and you'll see like the last couple people who have dropped anything. Okay. Although, don't read the names.
I won't read the names.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't want, you know what I mean?
Yes, but P. Fletch asked me publicly, so I figured that was it. Hey, Emp Dave, how you doing? Thanks for being here.
A lot of people call him Emo Dave.
Oh, is it Emo Dave?
But it's EMP Dave. So, like, I don't know where the emo thing comes from, unless they're misreading it like they do me when they call me Trippy Cat. Where I'm going to add cat ears.
Calls you that.
Everybody calls me that. Is it me or does everybody call me that?
Everybody calls you that. It's pretty funny.
All the new people that I run into, they're, hey, Trippy Cat. Do I look like a damn cat? I have a cat sometimes on the screen, but I don't even need Dexter on the screen to get called Trippy Cat.
So what did you guys think of the video? I want to go through this. Starting from the beginning, I'm going to start with Daniel, and then we'll go Trippy. And then we'll go to Star. What did you think from the beginning of, like, the different occults that were out there, and then into the space?
I thought that was interesting, and actually what's funny is how they tie it together, because you see the same people, like, praising Andrew Tate and the others, and even Rollo, like a cult, like, just they're very similar in a lot of ways. And I think originally the red pill started off to help people, but a lot of times it just told lonely dudes what they wanted to hear and try to help them in some way, and it just turned vengeful and bad. And as you were saying, Star, it turned them into an iron fist, and now just an us versus them thing, when really we should be coming together, because like, I love women, and we just, it shouldn't be an us versus them thing. So
yeah, very right. I think there's a lot of interesting parallels between these friggin' cults. And can I be heard? Oh, I'm not muted. Who's the black gentleman?
That's me.
He's got a hat.
Me? That's not me.
He's a little skinny guy.
Yeah, I don't know
what
who
the
that
hell was
is.
that.
He was he was making sure he wasn't going to
Stop
bomb
itself. No,
I think that's what he was doing.
I'm just kidding. I thought it was Hurricane Barrow. I was pretty sure.
Imagine.
Yeah, right.
Imagine.
But yeah, a lot of interesting parallels between cults. Cults. I'm still trying to start one. And people who follow the different pills. Pilly. Everything seems to be a pill. It's like, you could probably have a snow pill, right? You probably have a snow pill where it's just like people who are in cold climates hanging out together on the internet. And then you make fun of them for having a girlfriend until they leave their girlfriend because you're the lonely one and you want them to feel like you. That's the kind of crap they do.
I'm one of them. I used to clown people for that shit, but now all of a sudden it's just let them have fun.
Yeah.
Let him have fun. Yeah.
Because like the problem is that women, nowadays that does meet niggas, people that can't last long in bed, like I don't be clowning them for that shit like over and over and over and over. But it's called like having criticism, like for some reason. But like I said, it's called have fun. Like if y'all like this type of person, go ahead. Like more power to y'all. It's bad enough. Huh? What you said, Nova?
I was going to say, yeah, you have the freedom to live your life the way that you want, especially in this country. But it's not a positive thing that's going on. It's warping the minds, especially of really young boys and young men.
Yeah, facts. But it's bad enough that Sarah said that she don't date men that has soft hands. So yeah, it is what it is,
Yeah, if your hand isn't as rough as a chainsaw blade, you got no shot.
And my hand is not even that tough, by the way. Just saying.
Well, I mean, she might be saying like they used lotion too much on their, on their
While
junk.
jerking off?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like
Some
overly
people-
soft hands.
I mean, I understand what she says when she says that, but I think it would be best for her to say what she actually means on that. But there's nothing worse than you being a female and the male that you're with or you're interested in or who's interested in you has softer hands than you, meaning that he's more feminine than you is what it means.
Well, depends if he's good in bed. If he's not good in bed, next, you know.
I guess so, but that's for the ladies to answer. That's not really for the men to answer, you know.
Exactly.
I did want to finish the videos out by saying that there's no such thing as toxic masculinity.
Just masculinity.
I mean,
that's right.
I've said it in other streams before, and I want to just keep saying it again. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. The very definition of masculinity, if you look it up, even in the Latin, it just means a man. It's the description of a man. There's nothing wrong with being a man or what men bring to the table. Not one thing that's wrong with it.
Look, Missy, you take your toxic femininity, all right, and you go over there. I've heard somebody like use that.
I know, that's me. Toxic femininity, yes. Especially when I'm swinging a baseball bat at somebody, right?
I think we can all agree that feminism is toxic, at least now. What are they fighting
feminism? Yeah, well, it's a cult. That's what that is.
Fighting for, and it's still at the same. At the same point where, because like feminism is also very cultish, and it's still sitting at a point where if you ask random women if they're feminists, they're almost always going to answer yes because they want to appear like they're doing the right thing. When a lot of them don't even know what the hell is happening with feminism right now, you know. They're like, yeah, I'm a feminist. Well, why'd you say yes? You don't even know what the hell they're doing.
The playing ground has already been leveled. It's not going to get any more equal or of equality than it is, because you have to remember that there are differences with people. There's no such thing as fucking equality, and I hate it. I hate hearing it all the time. Because in order for everything to be completely equal, that means there'd be no definition between the sexes. There'd be no definition between personalities or gifts or talents or how much money you've got in the bank, your social status, your ranking, all across the board. There's no such thing. Okay.
And I'm okay with start making 70 cents on a dollar compared to my income. All right.
It's called a choice.
Yes, it's called the opportunity is there for you to exceed and excel.
Oh, by the way, that 70 cents thing is it's a lie. It's made up. It's made up.
I knew what you meant. It was funny.
Not being real. Yeah, it's all.
Feminism and red pill are two sides of the same coin. They're yin and yang. They're the same thing, basically. Just two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. That's why I said that, and nobody else has said that.
Yeah,
I said that when I first met all of you. I was like, this is like the equivalent to feminism, but it's for men.
Meninism.
Yeah, and it's designed to keep them away.
Or red pillism.
Yeah.
Red pillism, yeah.
Isms, all these isms are bad to begin with. Anything with an ism is bad.
Incelism.
Yes.
Communism.
Yes. All of it.
Mm-hmm.
And depressing.
Yeah, right.
Depressionism. Wow.
Yeah, depressingism. I agree with you on that.
Depressionism.
I mean, it ain't a problem to feel depressed. It's just like the feeling, you know. I mean, I already told you this, Nova.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of everything that has happened. You know, the tomfoolery and all this and that.
No, I agree with you. I remembered. Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like what is going on, or Tom is being held by the balls. It's just that he's believed all the lies. Like, I don't know if he's like using the tree of logic beef against me, or I don't know. Because I sent him all the screenshots that this woman like lied, like accused me of sexual harassing her, which wasn't true. I was defending myself. That's what I was doing while calling him for help.
Well, do you also have any thoughts on the videos that we showed? I'd love to hear what you had to say about that.
I mean, they're good, of course, but what's cringe is Alex Quasi broke them. I'm sorry.
Whoa, Nova, what are you putting in the chat?
You mean what you just typed in the chat?
I don't know. Read it for us.
Do you smell your own? What the?
See,
Hey,
dude,
yo.
I look like I typed that. I don't think so.
I think you do.
Imagine if Nova would ever ask her future partner about that.
I know. That's disgusting. Or
I
maybe
know what a Dutch oven
self-painted
is.
it. He's sitting there in mute.
I know what I know what a Dutch oven is.
That's disgusting.
A real N-word would not play that shit. He would just get up and walk away.
What about like so like no, wait. You guys have never been sitting there and you're like not bad.
We all fart. It's just it's not good to talk about it to somebody that you try to meet.
I'd rather leave the room.
Depends if it
Hey,
stinks
Uncle
or
Guns.
not.
Hey, Uncle Guns.
What up, Uncle Guns?
You got some nerve to talk, man. You can't fuck. You got no game. You ain't got shit. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Boy coming up in here acting like he's somebody. Out of here with that. Stop the cast.
Who's he talking about? Me?
I don't
I'm talking
know.
to you.
Oh.
But what did I do?
Acting like you can fuck.
Well, I could fuck. That's why I have such a big mouth.
What do you mean when you could? You no longer physically do it anymore?
What are you talking about? Hey, you're the one that said that I can't fuck, so I'm letting you know that you're wrong.
Mercy language, gentlemen.
I'm not the one
right.
who came up with that.
What were your thoughts, Uncle Guns, on the presentation? I know you didn't like the Alex part at the end, but I didn't pick it, so.
I like the presentation.
You did?
I like the presentation. I thought it was pretty good.
Cool.
You know, I mean, the whole thing is a cult, and you know, it started out plain and simple, and now, you know, I've spoken about this several times throughout the years, and I'll continue to speak about it. The manosphere deserves to be burned down. It deserves to be broken down. It deserves to be torn apart, like every false ideology that tricks people into believing stuff that's just not real. You know.
What happened?
I don't
know.
Oh, it cut you off.
You got big for a second, and then everybody got quiet.
Wow.
You got a lot of guys that are getting hurt out here. You got a lot of guys that are getting hurt out here because they're doing things that are beyond their scope, and you know they're led to believe stuff that's just not true. You know, it's extremely important to have social skills. It's extremely important to work on yourself. And again, I'll say it again. If any coach is telling you to do stuff, if any coach tells you to make it about anything about women, if they even hint anything at all where you're making it about the woman, if you got to get a haircut or do hygiene or basic man stuff, if they make it about the woman, that's not the real deal. It's not the coach. It's not the coach. You know, a lot of guys come to me because I talk about genuine game. You know, I won't get into the definition of game, but I can tell you the genuine definition of game has nothing to do with women. And anybody in the space that says game has anything to do with women is trying to sell you something. Period. That's all there is to it. They're a false prophet. They're a false prophet to try to rake in more profits. They're false prophets trying to rake in profits. If they make it about women, if they tell you to do anything specifically for the intent of trying to get the attention of women, they're making money off you. They're making money off you, period. Game is about you. It's about you becoming a better man. It's, you know, this whole thing about pills and plates and purpose and riz and all this. It's all nonsense. It's all nonsense. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all part of the magic show to make people believe that they can do something they're not. A lot of guys are getting hurt. Is why you see
the alpha.
That's why you see. That's why you see so many people failing. You see so many people failing because they're not. They're doing this thing. They get so desperate. They never had women before, and now they're getting bad advice. They're getting bad information, and now they're believing stuff that's just not true. And they're going out there and they're doing things, and it makes them believe that, oh, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. And then what really happens is they end up giving off this vibe of thirst and desperation.
Wait, P-Flex, is that you?
Yeah, that's him.
No, P-Flex, is that you?
His mic must not. I hear him. That's him. Just making sure.
Yeah, I just don't want to get flashed. That's why I'm asking. P-Flex.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Oh, there you are, bro. All right, man.
Flash you later. Don't worry. When he least expects it, I'm going to stand up and drop trow.
Better not. Better not, sir.
Never trust the clown, ma'am. That was your first mistake.
I know.
Stand up, drop trow, and then you'll find out I'm wearing 2 pairs of pants. Trick.
It was all a troll the whole time.
I have been a troll underneath the face paint. Oh shit! I accidentally gave myself away.
Quickly,
true.
Please.
Hey, remember, P. Fletch, I only troll specific groups of people, apparently.
Yeah.
We're self-made. That's a huge question.
He does this thing where he's invisible.
Yeah,
so.
he comes and goes. He's the Oz behind the curtain, pulling the levers, pushing the buttons.
Vigorously fapping back there.
Oh my God.
Hey Nova.
Yes.
Can I ask you my question?
Okay, it depends on the question, but sure.
I know, like I mentioned earlier, it's not even that serious, but is there a reason why I was on mod?
Damn, weak ass biscuit. Jesus Christ.
I didn't do any of that stuff.
So
there's another guy in control besides me. And I wasn't even awake or around for that.
Let me get self-made. Because he's the one that texted me. Oh, there he is.
Yo, what's up, man?
What's good, bro?
I told you. I said you got to be a little bit more active on the thing. We got to see what everything goes down. Me and Guns are the head mods here, and that's like the way it is. And if you're participating and doing stuff, it's just like an earned network, dude. You know what I mean? And you've been here every day, so like you're moving up the ranks. You know.
Facts. Well, that's what I've been doing lately.
You look, bro, you're cool and everything, but you and I are going to have to get together somehow behind the scenes, okay? Because I'm going to have to get with you and work with you on some social skills, to just we'll get together backstage, just hang out and we'll talk.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know when, but sure, it will be a good idea. No Diddy.
Did you say no Diddy?
Yeah.
The casting couch calling.
That reminds me of a specific Diddy at this point.
I know.
That's what some people in the it's the new no homo. When guys say no homo, if you're not confident enough as a man, and again, most of you are males. If you're not confident enough, you don't have to say no homo, no Diddy, no, pause. You don't have to say any of that. So that's
yeah.
Go ahead, I'm from, that's how we say things, because
I was going to say,
have sexual mindsets. That's why.
I rolled off this guy the other day, and I looked him in his eyes. I said, "No homo." And it's got to be, it's law because I said that. So.
Oh God, Tariff, if you want to come up, it's in the chat, dude. You just have to copy it and then come on up. I'll let you up.
Did you see what he just said? He said the red pill is about knowing the truth of male and female gender dynamics and finding ways to maneuver past the toxic aspects of female nature. Now, I just said that there's nothing toxic really about being a man, and there's also nothing toxic about being a woman.
Here's the thing. I could tell that you're hypnotized, and no shade against Tariq. He's cool. We're cool. He's a cool guy. That's proof. And I'm about to bust it wide open for you. That's proof that you've been indoctrinated by. That's proof that you've been indoctrinated by the cult mindset. That you believe that there's such a thing as female nature. There is no female nature. A man does not care about what females are doing. Female nature does not apply to a man. Only males care about what women are doing or what their nature is. A female's true nature is to be in the company of a man, and it's not a man doesn't force that. He displays his own value. He displays his own strength as his own person. He's not worried or concerned about what nature is or anything like that. A woman's nature only matters to a man when she's submitting and serving him. Period. Other than that, female nature doesn't exist. It's something it's a catchphrase. You know, Nova covered it earlier in the video about these catchphrases. You know, my boy. You know, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for what I'm about to say. Steve the Bean. I get shout out to him. He covered this, that they have these catchphrases. Every content creator comes up with their own catchphrases for them to all, you know, repeat and gawk and, you know, and all this nonsense. And where do we hear all the catchphrases? We hear it from wrestling. Vince McMahon came up with that. He called it kayfabe. I'll give you an example. Everybody, I'm going to start it. Everybody finish it. Can you smell
what the rock is cooking?
Exactly. Right. So you can't. The manosphere has its own little catchphrases that people came up with.
Yep.
Right. Everybody's got
their own those phrases from wrestling, like directly. Right.
Not just WWE, but TNA in general, like all wrestling company. You know, Ring of Honor, etc. The list goes on.
So the content creators came up with their own lingo. The whole you know, stop the cap and she's for the streets, and if she's not yours, it's your turn. I was there when all this stuff was invented. I was there. You know how I know? Because I was in the writer's room when we all invented it.
Yep.
I was in the writer's room circa 2014 when all this stuff was invented, because I helped invent it.
My bad that you have to go through all that shit.
Don't forget we're live.
Yeah.
I hate
let's with the guns. No, I mean, we do have our own language. Anybody that's in the manosphere already knows we have our own language. We got Max, and we have there's a ton. What is very interesting to me is that the black pill went mainstream.
I remember when gooning was just you and the boys were going to mess somebody up because they'd done something really stupid,
like hockey.
Yeah. Well, you look at like all the memes on IG right now or YouTube, and they're like all the manosphere, like
the internet works everything.
Well, the black pill terminology is being memed right now. It's actually went more mainstream than anything. It's crazy. I never thought it would happen, but it is. Now, you guys, like, with the videos, was it like, did you see the progression of like? I know Star probably had a problem with the Waco thing because I have a problem with the Waco thing. And I was going to ask Guns and Round panelists.
Y'all ever think about space?
Yeah. Hey, so Guns, what was your take on the Waco thing?
Sometimes I think about the space in between spaces.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, the negative spaces, you know.
Dude blew my mind.
I know,
so,
right?
Guns, what did you think about the Waco? The Waco, then we'll have Daniel Romero. Then we'll have Haro, Trippy, and then P-Fletch go next after that.
The Waco debacle should have never happened. That's all there is to it. It should have never happened. You know, I remember watching it on television in the 90s when it all did go down. It should have never happened. They didn't need that. They didn't need that extreme, you know, force. You know, all those people just died unnecessarily. You know, they could have waited They could have sat there and just waited them out, and just waited for them to come out and and have a discussion.
Honestly, it didn't
You
even
know?
get to that stage. I mean, how many times was Koresh inside the town and the sheriff could have just walked over and arrested him right there? But the feds called him off of it, At least that's what I remember.
Right.
I think we'll
I mean,
go to
if it
Daniel
was
next.
truly illegal what he was doing, they probably could have done that. I mean, wasn't he just a dude with a cult kind of thing, like a cult following, almost like Charlie Manson? We're good friends. I call him Charlie.
He likes Chuck.
Isn't that what they thought he was doing at least?
I think so, or at least that's what they wanted to put out there.
Maybe they wanted you to think that, right? I don't know. I just want my very own cult, and then we're gonna go to Hollywood. We're gonna make some people disappear. Anyway.
All right, Daniel, you're next, man. Guns, you get
okay.
yours, and then we'll go Hurricane, Trippy, P. Fletch, and then Star. Star, keep it in check. Thank you.
Okay, I had to walk away for a second.
All right.
I think since the FBI was involved, just always much like the Vegas shooting, just there's so many questions to it. I do think I just don't believe their story, because whenever they're involved, something was up. So I have to look more into it, because I don't know the entire. I know some of it, but just after hearing some of that, I just believe it was a possible psyop by the FBI too. Like if they just question whatever the FBI is whenever they're involved, because I don't know, just a lot of it doesn't add up. So that's my thoughts on it.
So was the CIA.
Yes. So is it questioning even more? So just like the Vegas shooting or JFK or any other thing.
Yeah. Everything is the CIA. Like imagine if Eddie and Benoit's death was done by the CIA. Imagine.
Have y'all ever heard of Operation Fast and Furious?
Yes.
I don't know if Daniel was done.
Yes.
Was he?
I don't think Daniel was done. Were you done, Daniel?
Sorry, man.
Yes, I was done.
Okay, he was done.
Okay.
What's Operation Fast and Furious? I need to know.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
Obama's term.
Oh, message me about it.
Okay.
And I would have been Diesel.
Yeah.
And The Rock.
That might be the 11th movie might be titled that.
Yeah.
I forgot who was next.
You don't need no red pill when you have family.
Family.
Who all remember that meme?
I need to talk like a monster. Did you guys know that Vin Diesel actually voiced the Iron Giant in that movie?
I did. Yeah.
Who's the Iron Giant?
Was
Diesel.
that a Disney movie?
No, it was. That's a good question.
What year
Yeah.
did it?
Shit. I can't remember. 90s, 99, something.
1999.
Something like
he
that.
was
Just
young.
look up the Iron Giant. You'll find it.
All right, no problem.
It's a kids movie. Anyways, yeah. Who was after Daniel? Was it Guns or P. Fletch or me?
I think it was you and then P. Fletch.
Hi, Ace. Welcome in.
Ooh.
No, we got Hurricane, and then Trippy, and then P. Fletch.
Oh, okay.
Milk tanks.
Milk tanks.
That was
What
what
do
I
you
saw in
mean?
the chat. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Who's eighth?
I don't know.
Aces and eights.
Saying hi. Don't be sorry. You're fine.
Don't
Just threw off the show.
No need to
with one
apologize.
word. Because of my dumb ass.
I think we all have issues. So who is next? I just lost count
It was
on
Hurricane.
Hurricane?
Talking about Waco, right?
We all have issues. Wait, what's wrong?
No, you. It's your turn to
Talk about what?
final thoughts on Waco.
Or the video?
Waco, Texas.
Wake Up Texas? I
Waco.
don't know.
Oh,
Waco? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I never heard of that, but so no comment. Sorry.
Okay. Was there something else too, Star? Miss
Uh,
host of the show that
I
should be hosting the show?
I walked away for a second because I had to deal with something, and then I came back.
Yeah,
and the
but
topic
Self
changed.
came back.
Self came
Daniel,
back, and then
I'm
Hurricane
gonna ask.
said nothing. So okay, we were talking about that. Okay, so do you guys have any other thoughts about, like, say the Mormon one or the manosphere coming to a close, and then we can wrap it up?
I still have to see the Book of Mormon if that's anything.
I've heard it's good.
Which is good riddance.
I heard it's a New York Times bestseller.
It is.
Oh, absolutely.
And, I think it got them guys like some Broadway awards, Matt and Trey.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
And as for the red pill, I'm with Guns on that one. I'm glad it's being destroyed, and just we got to just return to, being human again and just not hating each other.
We don't need to be part of any sects or pills or ideologies. Is not your damn personality.
Society will still make us hate each other no matter what. So
Yeah, exactly. Well, not society, but probably
It's gonna
politics,
try.
the media, because they'll be like, hey, your skin color is different than that guy's. Well, fight about that.
All right, man. So, like, Star, you want to do final thoughts? You need to be engaged with your panel. So we'll start with P Fledge. We'll be with P Fledge.
What was that? I kind of zoned out for a second.
Final thoughts on the show. P Fledge, Trippy, then Hurricane, then Guns, then Daniel, and then Star.
Okay.
So,
Well, I thought that it was a really good stream. Appreciate being brought up on the panel, and the whole thing that I get from all this cultish bullshit is think for yourself. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Base Oracle is here.
Oh, hey, Based. How you doing? Nice to have you in.
I've seen a lot of people make fun of Based, and they never, ever, ever
Hey,
just
Based.
call him Boracle. Like,
Is your
that's what I
hands
would do if I hated the guy. I'd be like, hey, it's Boracle.
Just asking.
Oh my God.
I mean, I don't hate the guy, Like,
I
I'm just saying,
know.
like, that would be what I would go with.
Why did we even bring Boracle up? Like, where did this come from? Control yourself.
Man,
there.
like, everybody is
I
like,
love you, man.
oh, it's based
No
this
kidding.
or based that. Just call him Boracle. Mix the names together.
Oh,
That way people will think you're calling him boring, even if you're not.
Mercy. Who's next? Who's next for the final thoughts? I lost,
It's, Mr.
the
Hurricane.
order. Mr.
Me.
Hurricane, yes.
This was a great show, and like I said, I'm gonna be here full time, and I finally am. And
Cool.
I would love to be in a panel with you guys again.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Hi.
Yeah. Wait, I'm hearing somebody else in the back. Who is that?
Oh, it's Tarif. Hey,
Oh.
Tarif.
Oh, all right.
Hi. How's it going?
It's going okay. We're getting ready to do final thoughts, and then we'll let them go, and then I'll put you in.
What up, bro?
No worries. I'm good. I'm good. How's it going, Uncle Guns? Is that you, Guns?
Yo.
Oh,
Okay, so it went from Hurricane Puro 2, and then we were supposed to go to
P
I think
Was it
was
P Fletch?
P-Fletch?
Or was it
either,
Daniel?
it was either you or P Fletch, or just
Well,
one of
son
you.
of a bit. You know what? That's it.
You're already talking. You go, and then we'll go P Fletch.
It
Wait,
was,
no, P Fletch already went.
It was a great stream. It was a great stream. He had some really good opinions. I like your sweater puppets.
Thanks.
Yeah, right. I like Daniel's here. He's got them too. Anyway, it was a good stream. I like seeing the parallels between modern day internet groups and some old cults that some people are so young they would probably think are ancient,
Yep, they're like
even though they were 90s and 80s. It was great. Did a good job. You had a good viewership.
Thank you.
People should share out the stream, like it, and then hit that subscribe button. And if you have the thingy, do the thing with the thing and the PayPal.
And the PayPal.
Sarah works really hard on these, and I literally was there while she was setting it up today.
We're not begging money. Now stop. Okay.
Not begging money, just saying, if you have the option, do it.
Okay, if they have the option. Okay, thank you. All right. And then Uncle Guns.
Great show. I mean, you making the correlation between various cults throughout the course of history, and tying it in with the space that we're all familiar with. The current men's space, if that's the current sphere, whatever you want to call it. I think it was tremendous. Just hopefully things in this space don't get that dangerous.
Yeah.
I see a lot of the guys do get hurt. They do continue with their trauma. They get caught in a trauma loop in this space. They tend to, and hopefully they get the help they need to, and they're hopefully they can become better without the grifters and the hucksters and the barkers and the lunatics and the snake oil and the cults. Just got to get away from the cults. And other than that, carry 2 tourniquets, and thanks for having me on.
And thank you for coming on, because you are a master, and I have also learned all of my ways between you and self. So, Hurricane Paro, just so you know, I've also had to earn my wrenching stripes. So you aren't just the only one. I also did. And Daniel, what do you have to say? Anything you can say for final thoughts?
Well, one, thank you for having me on. This was a interesting history lesson between the cults and the red pill, and just it was against it. Just it's like any other thing. It's a hustle. It's what P.T. Barnum said. There's a sucker born every minute. It's just one of those things that's trying to get more like desperate people in. But I thought you covered it really well, and again, it was very interesting. And again, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Appreciate your thoughts and your participation, and for being a mod for me also.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's fun. So.
And Tarif, what would you like to add in there for final thoughts? Anything?
Well, there's a lot to say, but so little time. I've been in the red pill spaces since like 2018, and I'm open to like learning about new perspectives about the red pill, the blue pill, like, or the manosphere or other spheres in general. But like to learn, like, I'm open to learning about the criticisms about the manosphere too, but like to see such like strong opinions about the red pill is like strong opinions like that is concerning, and I want to find ways in which the red pill can sort of be adjusted, like in a way that would be like, how do I say it, more presentable, or like more
less rigid,
yeah, less rigid, more more appealing, because the red pill is supposed to mean the truth, but if it's scaring everyone away, what's the point in knowing the truth about how gender dynamics works, how society functions, etc. Like, so I want to know ways in which, like, since I've been in the red pill space for so long, I want to know ways in which, like, how it can improve its presentability, its the way it is spoken of about, and like, all that sort.
Well,
so,
I covered it, and so did Uncle Guns, which is catchphrases. When it comes to business and presentation to the public, it's called marketing 101. Okay.
Right.
And they come up with catchphrases that sound legit, and they strike a chord with whatever person it's designed to attract. So if you have somebody who is struggling in life, certain types of catchphrases will stand out to them and draw them in. It's marketing 101. It's also another way to rebrand something old to make it sound new again, because everything has cycles.
Right.
in business. And so like you're seeing the positive thought thing that's reemerging, but it's being rehashed in a different way. Why? Because it has to be rebranded in order to be represented to a new generation and a new population, and not to be associated with something that's older. Same thing with products, same thing with anything that's going on. And so what he's saying and that I am saying is that with all these catchphrases, they are not true. Life isn't just a sphere. It is a ongoing thing. And when we're looking at nature, between whether it's male nature or female nature, you're just looking at humanity's nature. There's really not a whole lot of definitive until you start cutting down to the individual characteristics that is going on with that individual.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like, I mean, there are certain traits, I guess, like certain groups have, but eventually, like groups of people have, but it eventually goes down to the individual and their free will to choose what they want to do, I guess.
Yes. And so if anything that anybody can offer you is just to lose weight, get into shape,
Right.
make as much money as you can, because if you don't make the money, you can't get the hose, get the house, it's all exterior. And I have said, Guns has said, and even Alex, Playing with Fire, has said, it's also more about the internal, because internally, that's where the longevity is going to be. Externally, money comes and goes. Things change, illnesses come and go. Your physical wellness is even going to change. Your youth is going to change. But internally, those things will outlast forever. The soul is eternal.
Right.
And so what we want to repropose to people is to work on who you are as a person, as well as the things that you want to achieve on the outside. Getting into shape is great. I'm having to work back into getting back into shape. It's just that's just life,
Like refining things like intelligence and personality, right?
Yeah, refining things, intelligence, personality, but also your character flaws.
Character,
Yeah. If somebody has a cruel streak or runs too close to being a narcissist or BPD disorders or any type of a disorder at all, we would like to encourage one and all people to seek help.
Right.
Because those things you're not going to be able to change with just working out. If anything, that'll add more fuel to the fire. And the last thing I want to see is women being used. I don't want to see women being used. I don't want to even see men being used. But the way that it's going is they're just using women as a tool to be used in the space for self-gratification. And that makes you a predator.
Yeah,
it's a predator mindset. Which is also a predator mindset for the guys in the space who are selling the courses and the books and the catchphrases. That's also a predator mindset.
Yeah. And like the Andrew Tates and the Mayans, like, I mean, they have. I would say they're very extreme red pill. Like, I mean, using women, like you said, using women for self gratification, even to the point of abusing women. I don't think that's acceptable by any means. I mean, like, I'm all for like men being dominant and assertive, but like there has to be a point where where that dominance and assertiveness is not being misused.
Well, that's for another stream. I think that's
yeah. So thanks. Hey, you can stay. You can stay in the back. When we on the stream, we can still talk back there. So thanks, Tara, for coming up, dude. It's always a pleasure having you on. And then Star will give hers. Yeah, just wait backstage, man. Don't move.
Okay.
Give your
Okay. My final thoughts is just what I said in the beginning and the ending of the stream, which is anybody who's a snake oil salesman is always using catchy phrases and catchy marketing schemes. And I've been in marketing and in sales for years, so I can spot it a mile coming. Work on the internal, not just the external. The internal will take you the mile. The external is always going to be changing, and you'll play catch up because you won't be young forever. So that won't ever hold up. And I want to thank everybody for staying with me and enjoying what I've been producing, and a big thanks to Self-Made for helping me put everything together, and to Trippy, and to Uncle Guns, and everybody who's in the team. I want to give all of you a big shout out. I appreciate every single one of you. And to all of you detainees out there, you little thoughties, have a good evening. And until class is back in session, have a good night. Goodbye.